the one thing that I would encourage all young people to do is to stop renting. Ownership and wealth is built in ownership. And so if you are paying, I don't know, $1,100 in rent or whatever your rent is, compare that rent to what you would pay for a mortgage. Now, remember the one thing that I said at the beginning, in the land that we bought in Texas, we still have in the family. All of my uncles, all of my aunts, my grandmother out of slavery owned houses. And so when you own a house, you're building equity. You spend differently when you own a house. So the first thing that I would encourage you to do is to own a house. How do you do that? Three simple things: a credit score of at least 620, $1,000 in the bank, and a steady income. And
Wow.
if you have those three things, simple: a credit score of 620, at least $1,000 in the bank, and a steady income, buy a house. And it doesn't have to be the biggest house on the block. The first house you buy, I have a cousin who bought his first house at 19 years old. Right now, they are in Midland, Texas, and in Midland, that's the oil field of Texas. Right now, they own about 52 properties, and they live in one and they rent out the others. So the first thing is buy a house. Secondly, watch your spending. Honestly, just watch your spending. I think sometimes we get caught up in the designer and then the name brand and all of that kind of thing. For me, it doesn't make any sense to have Gucci bag or Louis Vuitton, and I don't have any money, you know. So if you need leather, you can invest in a nice leather bag. I'm not saying that you have to get something that you're going to have to continue to replenish, but get your bag, save your money until you can afford it. One thing that my grandmother, and I always listen, well, not always, sometimes when in my study, I listen to slave narratives. And I was listening to one slave narrative, and you can find these on the internet, Google. And he was saying that he didn't owe anybody anything. He was a cash and carry kind of guy. He was like, yeah, I could have gotten it on credit, but why would I do that? And I'll end up paying for this. No, if you can't buy cash for it, or if you use credit, if you don't have enough money in the bank to pay off the credit card at the end of the month, then you are overextending yourself. So ownership, watch what you're spending, and we're going to have credit to survive, but manage your credit. Those are the three things that I believe that you can do, and as you start to build wealth. And that wealth building, that ownership, that can be a joint venture. If two people come together and say, we're going to buy this house until one or both of us can afford to move out, and now you have a rental property. So, but home ownership is the number one thing that you can do, and do it early.
Okay.